Chapter 6. Even though there were 6 official detectives in Greenberry PD, everyone pitched in with major assignments in potluck fashion. Over the past year, Decker's duties had run the gamut, from a grisly homicide almost a year ago to traffic patrol where power lines had fallen in an ice storm. Before McAdams left for school, he and Tyler shared a partner's desk in the same area with Ben Reuters and Kevin Nickweed. Now that Tyler was gone, his desk had become spillover for the 3 of them. He wanted to make the notification from landline at the station house. The call lasted a few minutes, and after he hung up, Adams knocked and then came into the office. He noticed Dexter's grim face. "How was it?" Tyler said. "Stupid question. I'm going to their house tomorrow at lunchtime, around 10 in the morning, because they work very early. I offered to come up tonight, but the father said it was too late. He had to get up early and he needed his sleep." "Wait," McAdams furrowed his brow. "You just told him his son is dead and he worried about his sleep? People grieve in all sorts of ways." McAdams looked at his watch. It was a hair past 9. "How far away do they live?" "About an hour." "You could be there in an hour and they're not interested?" "They must be really alienated from their son." "Don't know, because there wasn't a whole lot of conversation over the phone. It felt like as I was talking, the father was nodding on the other end, listening but had nothing to say. It could be shock. It could be cultural. It could be he suspected that his phone call was a long time coming." Decker sighed. "I'm tired emotionally. I need to call it a day." "Sure." McAdams made a sour face. "What the hell happened to my desk? You didn't expect us to leave it as a memorial, did you? You could have kept it as neat at least." He picked up a pile of papers. "What is all this crap?" "Those are Ben's cases. You'll have to ask him about it." "You let Ben pile up his shit on my desk?" Decker spoke to the ceiling. "Someone needs dinner." He stood and put his arms around the kid, but Tyler shook him off. "Nah, don't give me that father act of yours. You have betrayed my trust. How can I make it up to you? I have to think about that one." He turned to Decker. "How about if you put a picture up of me on your piano?" Decker laughed out loud until Tyler told him he was serious. "Okay then." Decker cleared his throat. "Send me a snapshot of your good side and I'll gladly include you as part of my family." "Can we go? I'm starving and Rena's waiting for us with dinner." "I will eat dinner with you, but only for Rena's sake." They donned their coats, scarves, and gloves and headed into Decker's Porsche. The car was the sole part of Tinseltown that he had brought along in the move to upstate. He drove it only to work and back, but it reminded him of his younger years, and that was always fun. He never thought of himself as much of a mechanic, but lately he enjoyed tinkering with the beast. The temperature was in the 20s, and it was a clear night with a cold wind whipping needles into the face. Decker warmed up the car's motor and then cranked up the heater. "All kidding aside, thanks for helping me out today. Truth be told, you did me a favor. It felt good to get away from school and think about something else." A pause. "I can come with you tomorrow to wherever you're going." "I'm fine fighting solo, Tyler." "I'm sure that's true, but I wouldn't mind coming. I'd like to see how you conduct an interview with bereaved parents. And FYI, I can study very well in a moving vehicle. I don't get car sick, in case you're wondering." "I wasn't wondering, but you need to concentrate without distraction." "You'd be surprised how distracted I can be when I'm alone. You'll keep my nose to the grindstone. Besides, you just might want a second opinion." "A second opinion on what?" "On the family, of course. Maybe they didn't approve of his current life. Maybe Eli had an argument with his dad. Maybe that's what drove him to suicide." "I think you're projecting." "Of course I am. Anybody would eat a gun rather than listen to my dad spout off." I pause. "I mean, is it suicide, right?" "On the surface, it looks pretty textbook. We would have the report by tomorrow or the next day." When the kid was quiet, Decker said, "What's on your mind?" "The sheaves of paper that we found. They were stapled together. I don't think they accidentally fell behind the drawer. I mean, the front sheet got a little crinkled from pulling up the packet, but the rest of the papers were pristine. He was hiding them, I agree." "So then what are the papers about, and what do they have anything to do with Eli's death?" "I think the first question is, why would Eli be hiding anything?" "Maybe it was his research." McAdams paused. "Maybe he hit upon something so important that he didn't want anyone to see it, including his professors, who might steal his ideas and claim them for his own." Decker stopped at a light. "The reverse is, maybe he stole the papers from someone else and is trying to pass them off as his own. He felt guilty about it and decided to kill himself." He does come from a community where there are strict moral rights and wrongs. I don't know, McAdams. Why not just tear up the pages and move on? Maybe it was too late. Handed them could he already handed them in to the professor? To backtrack would expose them. Maybe he couldn't take the shame. Then why did he bother hiding the pages if he already handed something to his professors? I'm not saying that's what he did, McAdams said, just that we should find out what he was studying and compare his 9 papers to the one he was hiding. Maybe they're the reason behind the suicide. You're itching for something big, aren't you? Not necessarily big. Whatever it is, it's more interesting than studying tort law. McAdams took off his jacket in the overheated car. What about a code? What code? Maybe the math isn't his research. Maybe the math is a code for something illegal. Now we have Eli being part of a syndicate. I'm not saying he was a major ass criminal, but there's a lot of drug dealing in the Institutes of Higher Learning. Surely you know that. The papers are filled with math formulas. They are, but we don't know what they represent, McAdams said. We need someone trustworthy to look them over. What do you think about giving them to Dean Zhao? Do you think she's trustworthy? I haven't a clue. She did seem anxious to see the papers. I agree with you, Tyler. We need to interview his professors first to find out what Eli was studying. We get some copies of his work and compare it to the papers he was hiding, because for all we know, the hidden papers may have nothing to do with his theses. But we need someone who understands maths. That shouldn't be a problem. We both know a certain Harvard maths professor who has been useful in the past. I find him trustworthy. What do you think? Decker said, I don't see Professor Gold pilfering other people's work. He's a full professor, tenured and well respected. But then again, he ratted us out to the authorities. But he did it to protect us. We might as well go to him since I don't know anyone else. Okay, that he said. Then it's settled, McAdams announced. First, we talked to Eli's professors and tried to get some copies of his research since we can't find his laptop, which, by the way, is still bothering the crap out of me. Once we do that, you can call up Professor Gold and we can take a trip to Boston. So you're calling the shots now, Decker asked. You always tell me to take initiative. His plan was dead on, except that Decker had reservations about taking the kid away from the law books. He did have exams to pass. This is the deal, McAdams. You study tomorrow when I interview Eli's family. We'll assess where you are in your studies tomorrow evening. How can you assess where I am? I can't, so I'm going to have to rely on your honesty. If you say you can take a day off to travel to Boston with me, I'll take you at your word and we'll go together. Fair enough. Besides, you did say you can study in a car. It might even work to your benefit. A day will give you time to amass questions. Once we're up north, you can just ask your law professors for clarification. I don't ask questions in school, boss. I've never once raised my hand, gone to office hours, or joined a study group. If I'm called on, I usually know the answer. In the few cases I didn't know, I didn't try to fudge or guess. I said out loud in front of everyone that I'm not sure, but I will look it up after class and get back to you. And I always did get back. I emailed them the answers I should have known in the first place. If I can't figure out this stuff on my own, I shouldn't be in Harvard Law. There's a fine policy for school, Tyler, but on this job, I would hope that you ask me for help. You better ask me for help. It could be life and death. I know that better than most. McAdams stared out the windshield. Police work is on the job training. You can't learn it in books, so of course I ask you questions. With academic issues, I sink or swim on my own, fiercely independent. It's hard to break away from Black Jack McAdams, but I try. He sat back in his seat and sighed. Lord knows that I tried. McAdams felt more at home with the Deckers than he did with his own parents. After he had been shot, he had moved into the spare bedroom for almost 2 months as he recovered. The house was done up in a typical New England B&B style with chintz wallpaper and gleaming hardwood floors. The living room ceiling had been opened up to the attic rafters, giving the area a larger feel. All that winter, Rena had not only nursed him back to health, but she had also taken part in some of the investigative work with him. The case was solved, but the ending was unsatisfying. Nothing had been neat. Such was McAdams' introduction to real police work. His relationship with Decker was mentor-mentee. While he admired the old man more than he would dare admit out loud, McAdams' relationship to Rena was different. She was part mother figure, but she was also part friend. And it surprised him that a religious woman who covered her hair and knew the Bible by heart could be so insightful and act so ordinary. She greeted him with a hug and something not very religious, every religious Jewish woman would do, but that was just Rena, warm and friendly, quick-witted, and rock solid, dependable. Tonight she wore a blue sweater and a black skirt that ended mid-knee, a black beret on her head. Her feet were in slippers. Your room is set up, she told him. Let me know if you need anything. Thanks, I'll be fine. Hungry? Starved. McAdams hoisted the duffel. Let me get rid of this. Sure, unpack and I'll see you in a few minutes. Rena walked into the kitchen where Decca was picking up the rice pilaf. She said, ah ha ha ha. Decca kissed her lips. Tastes good. We're starving. I'm hungry too. She spread the rice into a big platter and put the roast chicken on top. There was also a bowl of green beans. Baked apples were still in the oven. They both heard water running. You want to take a quick shower as well? I'll do it after dinner, Decca said. I'll get a hotter shower if I wait. We really should get a bigger water heater. I'll call someone. Get a couple of prices. Even in a small town, you can get competitive bids. Not a problem. So what's going on with the body in the woods? He's a college student, and it's probably a suicide. Rena frowned. That is so sad. You have a name? Elijah Wolf. He's from a Mennonite community. Oh dear. Did you contact his parents? Yes. Yet? I did. How did you do that? It must eat you alive. It does, but someone has to do it. I'm visiting the parents tomorrow, hoping to find out more about him. They live with an hour from here. I spoke to the father. He didn't say much. Could be shock, but it could be cultural. What does the father do? He has a farm, that's all I know. How religious are they? No idea, but they do have a phone. Are you taking Tyler with you? No, he came down here to study, not to get involved in this case. I don't want to be the reason he did poorly on his exam. So you're driving up country alone? Talking to the boy's parents isn't a two-person job. I'm not questioning your detective skills, Peter. I'm not working tomorrow, and I was wondering if you wanted company, she sighed. I guess I just wanted to help. You are help just being who you are, Decca kissed her forehead. Actually, it's a good idea. What is? Keeping me company, coming with me. You can talk to the mother as one religious woman to another. You'll probably get more out of her than I would. If she's able to talk, that might be true. If I were her, I'd be a basket case. I'm sure she is a basket case. Rena handed him the plate of chicken and rice. She took the bowl of green beans. They went into the dining room and placed the food on the tabletop. If she and I happen to wind up together, I'll keep the conversation light. Food is always a good icebreaker. I can talk recipes for hours. It's the primary bond between your mother and me. We should visit her. She's old and frail. The bonus is Florida. Rena consulted her smartphone. At present, it's 86 degrees. After I'm done with this mess, I'll ask for a little time off. Since I work on Christmas and New Year's, Mike will be amenable. Good. So I'll come with you tomorrow. I loved it. Thanks for offering. No problem. When are we leaving? Around 9:30. Perfect. I won't have to rush. With a wet head, McAdams walked into the dining room. Man, that looks good. He sat down and put his napkin on his lap. I haven't eaten all day. I'm beyond starved and I'm famished territory. After ritually washing, Rena and Decca sat down. Everyone filled their plates. Conversation was kept in a minimum as they ate. Afterwards, Decca and McAdams cleared the table while Rena served the baked apples. When they all sat back down, Decca said, Rena's going with me tomorrow. To the wolf farm? Yes. McAdams shrugged. I see I'm being replaced once again. Stop that, Rena said. At least it's someone competent. Decca said, your competency isn't at issue here. You need to study. When I go up to Boston, I'll take you with me, okay? Goody, goody. McAdams cut the apple into smaller bites. So when are you going to interview Eli Mass professors? When I get back, sometime in the late afternoon. I'd like to come with you. I've been around professors more than you have, and I have. Might actually be of help. It's a fair point. Let's see how far you get with your books. Whatever. McAdams wiped his mouth, got up from the table and cleared his plates. I'm going to try to rip off a couple of hours studying. He turned to Rena. Thanks for dinner and thanks for putting me up. After he left, Rena said he's dying to come with you. It's more important for him to study. Besides, by the time we come back, I'm hoping the postmortem will be done. Decca stood up and stretched. Give me a better idea of what I'm working with. I don't want a repeat of last year. Something small turned into something big and dangerous. Understood, Rena. Got up. You look beat. I'll load the dishwater. Take a shower. No, I'm actually okay. I'll finish up here and you relax. Decca looked at his watch. We did dinner in 28 minutes. By the time I'm done, I should have plenty of hot water. I like long showers. They help me clear my head, and being that we are no longer in a drought zone, I can indulge myself without feeling like I'm scoffing at some environmental water protection law conjured up by some Green Party fanatic who drives a Prius and shops organic at Whole Foods. You're working yourself up. Go take your shower. She gave him a gentle push. I'll put the kettle on. I just got some loose leaf exotic Indian tea at the organic coffee and tea store. It has ginger, cardamom, and ginseng. It's supposed to revitalize the flesh as well as the spirit. Decker smiled. That sounds good to me. At my age, I can use all the revitalization I can get.